It's the blue line. We've got 3 NHL games today, and we're going to tell you exactly how to bet every single one of them. I'm Lawrence Presman. My co-host is Matthew Barnaby, a pugilist, an NHL hockey player, incredible bettor, a man with great hair, and somebody who I'm slowly finding out is quite likable. Brad May, our guest. He's going to talk
That's really nice to
all
hear.
3 games. Well, Brad, I did not know this. Forget Matthew. Just bring Brad on. Oh, we ought to put up with Matthew too. Brad, I had no idea. I mean, I'm new to this Matthew Barnaby thing, but it really feels like he's got a lot of friends out there.
Oh, Matthew was a great teammate, and he's a good dude. Lots of fun, a little crazy for sure. You'll get to know him a little more, but we had a great time in Buffalo. We started our careers there together. And Matthew and I fought the first time we were ever on the ice against one another. He was trying to make the team and make an impact. I was already there, somewhat established, and you know what? You got to give these guys a chance. And Matthew and I became really good friends and certainly great teammates.
Man, there seems to be a thing where if you beat the crap out of a current or ex teammate, you then become amazing friends with them. Is that, Matthew, how this thing works?
I'd say 99% of the time it works like that. Or one guy's traded and you really hate him. Brad's just a class guy, Stanley Cup champion, 19 seasons,
Yeah.
maybe scored one of the nicest goals of all time under the pressure of the playoffs. Listen, I hear about it every event I do. He got $20 million. He toasted Ray Borg. He got a nickname for life in Mayday, but no one deserves it more. I hate talking good about guys when they're
Yeah.
on the show, but no one's ever going to have a bad thing to say about Brad May. I can promise you that. Great family, great family guy, great person. And we're going to see how he bets today, if we agree or disagree with him.
That's for sure. And Brad, I'm 56 in a few weeks. I was skiing a month ago in Courchevel, and I did a jump. Like it was my last one. And at 30 feet, it was unbelievable. But it was only unbelievable because the cameraman caught it so beautifully. Your goal and nickname sits alongside one of the greatest calls in NHL history. Without that call, man, I don't know. Does that name stick?
Well, first of all, I had never been named that, or I've never been called Mayday ever before.
Right.
No, Rick Jenneret, that was a moment in time, and quite honestly, if the voice wasn't attached, to the actual images that people were watching, Rick actually did it on the radio. That's one thing maybe people didn't understand or don't understand or don't know. He was our radio broadcaster, and his imaging was spot on and amazing, and that's kind of how it married. John Gertler did the game in Buffalo, and it was a great call as well. But nobody's ever watched or heard that ever since. We've got a
Yeah.
nickname since April
So,
the night April 24th, 1993.
and it's a great one. Brad May joining us. You're watching the Blue Line, everyone. We talk NHL hockey betting. Only betting. I mean, we got to talk a little shit too, but we are gamblers. And what's different about our show is that we bring on ex NHL hockey players. We try to understand the psyche and the emotional state that the hockey players are in, and really use that to our advantage when making bets. We have Andy Lang coming on shortly to give out some props. And Brad and Matt, we forgot to do a best bet segment yesterday, so we'll get back into that. Let's get going, boys. Brad, we got 3 games tonight. Let's start with Carolina. They're playing Detroit, and this Detroit team has fallen apart. They got themselves into playoff position. Everybody was super excited. Stevie Y looked like he was putting together a team, and now here they are. They're likely not going to make the playoffs again. But they played really well against St. Louis in their last game. They lost 2-1 in overtime. They've got 3 points in their last 2 games, and they're playing a Carolina team that at minus 200 might be looking ahead in this spot. What do you like in this game? How would you bet it?
Well, the Carolina Hurricanes will win. My last team I played for in my career was Detroit. Yes, they've struggled. Listen, any team can win on any given night. Obviously, these players are talented and they have, careers to look after, and they want to pad the points a little bit. But Rod Brendamore, the Carolina Hurricanes, this is not I wouldn't say a must win, but this is a game that they need to keep the details of their game sharp and fresh. I picked Carolina. I'm not so sure I'd bet the game, but I picked Carolina for sure.
Yeah, so Matt, let's talk about that before we get into your specific opinion, because this is what we want to learn with UX NHL players. Carolina is, for all intents and purposes, locked into their spot, and Brad talks about it still being an important game. So moving forward, is this coach related? Is Brindamore the type of coach that keeps his team playing at that high intensity all the way through? Because we've seen coaches like Cooper, and Sully and whatnot in the past maybe pull back a little as the team has found their spot. Is Rod Brindamore that? I mean, listen, we know what type of hockey player he was. Intensity was something that he had on the drive to the hockey rink. Is what Brad's saying? Is that specific to him? Because if so, that's really great information to know moving forward, especially with 7 meaningless Carolina games ahead of us.
Well, you both said it. I mean, his intensity is paramount in the way that he played, the way that he coaches, the way that he respects his players. Carolina minus 200. I'm with Brad. Carolina is going to win this game. Do I want to lay 200? No, probably a little much. I have Carolina in a couple plays here. I'm not touching that part of the game, but I do believe Carolina wins. I do think Rod Brindamore is that kind of coach that demands intensity from his team, even though that they are locked into a spot, because you want to be playing really good hockey. Now, you might rest a guy here and there if he doesn't have bonuses coming up, whatever that may be going forward. But you want to be playing your best hockey. You don't want to roll into the playoffs playing average hockey. And Brad could talk to that more than anyone, being a Stanley Cup champion. You got to hit your stride at the right time, right? I don't care what sport it is. You can't roll into the playoffs not playing your best hockey because you can't flip a switch.
So, guys new to sports betting and new to NHL sports betting, minus 200 means you have to lay $200 to win $100. But more importantly, it means you have to win 2 out of every 3 games in that particular spot. I don't know if Carolina can win 2 out of every 3 in the spot, but I do agree with both of you that Carolina will win this game. I would look to bet this game in regulation. It's around minus 135 to 140, no overtime. And I think that has to be the way to look at it. And plus, Carolina, for some reason, they do not play overtime games. I know Detroit played one last game, but before that, they hadn't played one in 9. And it has been a long time since Carolina has gotten into overtime. So, Brad and Matt, you both like Carolina. Would you prefer them, Brad, in regulation, or are you comfortable with laying 200?
You know what? I think they're going to win the game. Of course, if there's other games tonight, I'd rather bet those. But
Right.
and my reason why they're going into the playoffs this time of year, the discipline that it takes, they're well coached. They're a disciplined team. The structure of the Carolina Hurricanes is their greatest strength. It's greater than their individual talents, and they've got some good ones, and they've got a great defensive acumen. So.
Yeah.
If they deviate from that and mail one in, that quickly can erode the confidence of the team, and then obviously give whoever they're going to face in the playoffs, a little confidence going in. But no, Carolina plays a really structured game. I expect them. I believe they're going to win. Although that's the thing about hockey; it's not so much about the numbers. Every once in a while, you're going to have some unlikely heroes or guys that step up and play. And in Detroit's case, they're not playing to make the playoffs. They're not going to make the playoffs, but they're still playing for jobs and the character in their room. So expect them to come out and play hard. But I'm all over Carolina, and I would bet the 200. I think I'd win, but I think there's better choices.
There we go. And well said. Nobody has to bet these games. You can, yesterday we had 11 games on tap. I made one single bet, the
Yeah.
under in the Vegas Winnipeg game. So, yeah, guys, be careful out there. There's no reason to just bet a hockey game. We are looking for an edge here. Let's turn our attention to the next game, Matt. And that game is Chicago playing Washington. And here we got a Washington team at minus 425. There's very little chance I will get to the window on a number like that. Ovi at 3 goals away. I sat there and I did a deep dive on the Ovi situation tonight. Can he get all 3 tonight? It's plus 1,900 for Ovi to get all 3 against Chicago. But more importantly, it's minus 150 that Ovi gets 3.5 or more shots on goal. That's the bet that I am most interested in here. Ovechkin over 3.5 shots, minus 150 feels like a good bet for me. He does regularly get over 3 shots on goal, and he's playing a Chicago team that gives up shots. Right now, we got an over and under a 6.5. Matt, I'll go to you first. Man, I hate these major mismatch where the line is so skewed you can't figure out how to bet it. What do you like in this game?
Well, I figured out how to bet it, and I got Carolina, I got Washington in a parlay. Excuse me. I got them in a parlay at minus 112. I think both them winning it. And I really think, listen, puck lines are tough to bet in the National Hockey League, but I think Carolina, Washington, neither have something to play for really, but you got Alex Ovechkin that is chasing Wayne Gretzky for the most goals of all time.
Yeah.
I have the over 3.5 shots for Ovi because it's going to become the Ovi show until he breaks it. Gretzky's going to be in the house, the power play. He's not going to be passing shots up. The only thing he won't do is break the record on an empty net. I can promise you he'd rather dump the puck into the corner than beat Gretzky on an empty net goal. So he's going to be firing on all cylinders.
So
I think you're out of your.
Yeah.
I think you're out of your.
Yeah.
I think you're out of your mind, Matthew.
Me too.
No.
So Matthew, are you telling me? Hold on, Matthew. In order for Ovechkin, and we'll go just with tonight. In order for Ovechkin to break Gretzky's record tonight, that would mean a hat trick. That would mean a hat trick on an empty net goal.
Matthew, sit down and listen.
Sit down and listen. Won the next game and his last one. If it's for a hat trick, yes, he's going to put it in the net. But if he's one behind,
Matthew, sit down. Sit down.
Yes, Brad, teach him. You kicked his ass on the ice. Now teach him about this game.
Hey, listen. Anything can happen. There's not a chance. Every guy on the ice, if there's an empty net situation, every player is going to give up that opportunity. It'll be a pass back to Ovechkin. And quite honestly, I think everybody in the game today wants to see him break Wayne's record, which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
All these record-breaking players, Wayne Gretzky, when he scored 50 in 39 games, scored 5 goals in a game. There's going to be something special that happens. He's so close. Or it's going to be tough, and he'll have to do it next year. That's my prediction. But I think Ovechkin's going to do it in spectacular fashion. This guy is fired up. He's got a great coach in Spencer Carberry, who's actually really galvanized their team. They're the best team in the NHL with points this year. And the way I don't know, with this new ability to watch what happens in locker rooms on different social media platforms, just watch, go in the archives and watch Spencer Carberry celebrate victories with his whole team. It's not just about Alex Ovechkin. They have a lot to play for. They want him to do it, and I think Wayne does as well. This is a special time. Wayne's still got 50 or 60 records, so that's not a big deal. But Ovechkin, he's going to do it. I hope he does it tonight against the Blackhawks, and it would be absolutely special. And by the way, you're going to have a picture. Connor Bedard, Alex Ovechkin in this moment, and you never know, not to say Bedard's ever going to get there, but he's going to be a star player. There's going to be an image that's going to be worth a lot of money if it happens with these two players in the game.
I also like
Brad
the
made,
under.
yeah,
I like the under. I like the under 6.5.
you do. Wow. Is that so under 6.5? How many goals are you expecting from Chicago?
At one.
So, so that is
I
a
see it like
tight
yesterday in the
window.
Dallas game. Like yesterday in the Dallas game,
Yes.
a 4-1, 5-1 game is what I expect out of Washington here. I just can't lay almost
Yeah.
4-1 odds.
No, and I agree with that. And if you are going to bet this game from a side perspective, I would go all the way to -2.5 here, guys. And yeah, this coach in Washington, he'll be coach of the year for sure. And I don't know where he came from, but great job by Spencer. That is for sure. Brad May joining us, everyone. Matthew Barnaby. This is the Blue Line. You can find it on WagerTalk TV, our YouTube channel, but you can also find it on every single podcast platform. And what I'm asking from you guys today is please, if you can head over to Spotify and iHeart and Apple, and you can listen to the show. Just type in the Blue Line. Give us a review. This show is only 5 days old. We're getting incredible comments. We're calling this basically practice for next year, but we need your help. So if you're watching this video now, hit the like button. If you can take a moment to comment on this video, that would be great. And if you can write a review on one of the streaming platforms, it would just mean the world to us. Thank you, guys. Let's keep this show moving along. We got Minnesota playing the New York Islanders. You know, we spoke about how the Detroit Red Wings mucked it up. Well, the New York Islanders have done exactly the same thing. They have now lost 6 games in a row with no end in sight, and it's really, from a goaltending and defensive perspective, this team has allowed 4, 6, 5, 5, 4, and 4 in that losing span. That's right. Every single game in that losing span, they have allowed 4 or more goals. They're now playing Minnesota, who has lost 3 in a row and 5 of their last 7. The Islanders are -125. The total in this game is 5.5. Brad, I'll go to you first. How do you suggest we bet this matchup?
Well, the first thing first, Minnesota is actually a little behind here, but they're going to win. They're going to beat the New York Islanders, and I would never bet. I love the saying, "Don't try to catch a falling knife." The New York Islanders are imploding. Playoff hopes are gone. They're disappeared. There's been a lot of adversity with one of their players, Anthony Duclair, and Minnesota. Although they're missing 2 of their better players, if not their best player, Minnesota is trying to get their game going on the road. They've actually lost in overtime the last 2 games. They got points, but they need to shore up their game. They haven't played well over the last 7 games, although they played well enough to win in the last couple. I look for them to go over the 5.5. Minnesota's going to score some goals, and I think that's a lock.
Yeah, I love the over as well in this game, Brad. And I was on the over in the last New York Islanders game against Tampa Bay. That actually lost 4-1 Tampa Bay. But prior to that, this team has gone over the total 8 games in a row. And we spoke about how they just can't keep the puck out of the net. I agree with you. I like the over. Where are you going to go here, Matt?
I'm going the under. Guys.
Wow.
Minnesota's not a high-profile offensive team. The New York Islanders, aren't great defensively. I'm with Brad. Don't try to catch that falling knife. Don't. This is where infantile bettors are like, well, they have to win. Like they've been so bad at law of averages, they're going to win. No, shitty teams just keep on losing a lot of the time. And Minnesota on the road is a much better team than they are at home. They're 22-11-5 away. And yeah, they haven't played well as of late, but they're a better team than New York Islanders. I like the under 5.5 in this game. I don't like betting 5.5s, but I think it's going to be a lower scoring game today.
Yeah, we spoke about that yesterday, Matt. I mentioned that I'd only made one bet all year under 5.5 and it lost. Well, now I'm 1-1 because I made an under 5.5 yesterday on Winnipeg and Las Vegas. Brad May, What a privilege to do this show with you. You're a person that I watched growing up for many, many years. You've left an indelible imprint on the sport. What are you doing these days? Are you podcasting? Are you commentating? Are you talking head? What are you doing these days?
For quite a while, I was an NHL analyst. I still do stuff like this, get invited on certain platforms. I'm actually an insurance broker with actually the company that NFP, which we actually insure the National Hockey League's head office and other things. We're also Major League Baseball and a number of other commercial, business verticals. But yeah, I'm really excited about what I'm doing now. Learning every day, drinking from a fire hose. It's been a lot of fun, but I still love the game of hockey.
No doubt. Brad May, everybody. And I'll tell you guys a quick personal services announcement. If you are in your early 20s and you are struggling to find your way, which my children are, my children's friends are, it's tough out there. I tell every early 20-year-old, sell insurance. My dad told me that. I did not take his advice. Take mine. Because if you work your ass off for 10 years, you build up a nice sheet, you're going to be set for life. So take Brad May's career advice and sell insurance. Brad, any comment on that? Do you agree or disagree?
Well, I'm so new to it, and you probably, have those thoughts. I've had some great people around me, some great mentors, and I'm learning every day. At 53, it's really cool, kind of a real pivot, but I'm enjoying it. Anybody that's listening, you can get a hold of me. I can take care of you. And you know what? Why not? A little shameless plug on the airwaves.
Yeah,
But
hey, of course.
I can take care of you. We're deep. We go all over North America, and not only internationally as well. Our company's a large one, yet we can do pretty much any line. So hey, if you're struggling, you don't like, or you have no relationship with who you have, reach out to me. And I promise you this, and Matthew can attest. I fought for my teammates when I was a player. Why would you think that I wouldn't fight for you now? So that's
Yeah.
my
That's got to be on a
go-to.
business card. You got to put that on a business card.
So I need to it has to be rephrased. It does have to be rephrased. It has to be tightened up, but the concept is 100% there. And you're like so American to be like, I fought for my teammates and I will fight for you. Anyway.
Thanks,
Brad,
Day-Day.
how do they get a hold of you? Could you have your DMs on Twitter open? Like, can they DM you on Twitter?
I'm at Mayday Hockey, I believe, on everything that I have. So at
Perfect.
Mayday Hockey.
Perfect.
But
There
that's
you
of
go.
course my personal side. That's my personal stuff. But yeah, at Mayday Hockey. Yeah.
There you go. Thank you so much, Brad. Matthew, this show is awesome, dude. You are killing it with these guests. We got Andy Lang coming on. The great Andy Lang, best prop better on the frickin' planet. How are you, brother?
Doing good. Hope you guys are having a good one. Nice little winning night in the NHL. I'm sad the regular season's coming to an end. I love the regular season because you get to bet against bad teams. When the playoffs start, there's no more bad teams to fade. It's a bummer.
You gotta love when your financial advisor texts you your updated portfolio numbers while you're doing a show live on air a day after the market crashed.
Yeah. Thanks for putting me in listen. Thank God we have some betting to make some money because we aren't making it in the near future in the stock market. It's been a hard tumble.
Oh yeah, to say the least.
Best part
Anyway,
about sports betting, it's recession proof. Sports
Yeah.
betting knows it doesn't care what the economy is doing. You make a bet, you win it or you lose it. It's a
this is a good
fantastic
time in the market. I don't want to get into the market and politics and all that. When something dives this hard, never a bad idea to maybe if you have some side cash to be jumping in with some value, just like we look for value in sports.
Yeah, and that's ultimately what my financial advisor said to me yesterday. I'm like, oh my God, how much did I lose? He's like, you gained an opportunity to put money into a soft market. I'm like, you sneaky little devil. You should come on WagerTalk and sell, baby. Andy Lang, let's get into some prop bets. This is a short card tonight. Let's talk about Ovechkin before you give out your prop bets. 3+ goals plus 1,900. Over 3.5 shots has been bet up. It's now minus 160. Any value on either of those? I mean, it's hard to bet a guy getting a hat trick, but if it's going to happen, it will happen tonight.
Yeah, those aren't markets I really dive into.
Yeah.
And my shots on goal props, honestly, my shots on goal props, the only time I play overs is when the number is 1.5. I don't play over 3.5. So just a lot has to go right. Now, this is a very special situation, obviously, but I just stick to I stick to my guns. I stick to my plays. I stick to my strategies. And so I just don't play anything over 2.5 or 3.5. I'm strictly an over 1.5 shots on goal.
Okay. So what do you have for us today?
Let's go with Brock Faber, over 1.5 shots on goal, over in 5 straight games. He's averaging 4.4 shot attempts and 3 shots on goal. And listen, what I love about him is even when he's not going over 1.5 shots on goal, he's still getting his shot attempts. Last 20 games, he's averaging 4.2 shot attempts. So this isn't a guy that dips way low in the shot attempts. So continue to ride the hot streak with Brock Faber, over 1.5 shots on goal. I'm going to take an under. Ryan Donato under 2.5 shots on goal in this Blackhawks Capitals game. He's under in 6 out of 10 games, averaging 4.8 shot attempts and exactly 3 shots on goal. But here's the thing. You have to go back to 2020 to the last game. He has gone over this total against Washington. 5 games to the under, and he's only averaging 2.6 shot attempts per game against Washington. Guys, I'm not a mathematician, but it's really hard to get to 3 shots on goal when you're only averaging 2.6. So the math adds up to a nice under here.
Right.
And then I'll look at Taylor Hall to have a point in the Carolina-Detroit game, on fire with points, over in 10 out of 12. He had a point last game against Detroit. He's on the first power play line, I believe, in Detroit, 30th in allowing power play points, as you guys have done a good job. They're kind of cratering right now. So Faber over his shots, Donato under his shots, and Taylor Hall with a point.
Man, Andy, so good. Thanks for doing this, brother. And you guys can hear Andy at noon Eastern live with me on WagerTalk today. That's one of our shows where we cover all sports. We're going to do a deep, deep dive into the college basketball Final Four. So Andy Lang will be joining me for that. Matthew, what are your prop bets for today's show?
Yeah, just had one yesterday. Allmark over 24.5 saves. It looked like it was going to cash halfway through the game, but we did cash it. I'm on Ovi over 3.5 shots. We had it with Austin Matthews the other day. He had 4. I think it really becomes the Ovi show. They're not playing for anything except for Ovi's record. He'd love to get 3 tonight. I think he'll just be firing pucks. He's not going to be passing up anything. So he is going to be firing shots from all over. Look at Carolina over their shot total. I didn't get the exact number on it, but they're the number 1 shooting team in the league. They average almost 33 shots a game, playing a Detroit team that is really not very good, as we know. So no. Carolina over, Ovi over, and I got my parlay, not a prop bet, but Carolina Washington minus 112 just to win.
Matthew and Andy Lang, you're watching the Blue Line. Matthew, I don't know if I told you this, but Andy has unearthed a sport that is making free money to everybody. It certainly is not hockey, but Andy, I'm so interested and fascinated by this dart betting that you do. It's like. Is this something like every day? Is this an everyday thing, or is it one day a week?
No. So what he's talking about is betting on darts. If you follow darts, right now is the Premier League. Every Thursday they have a big event. It's the same 6, as Prez calls them, dartists, darts players go play. And Matt, it's great. You know what you call a darts parlay? Prez has made this. He calls it a darlay. So Prez is on fire with the artists and the darlies. Yeah, so every Thursday there's this big Premier League. It's very bettable. There's multiple rounds. You can live bet. And then on the weekends, they have these hidden European tournaments with lines out, and you can watch most of these. And then the big one is every December, there's the World Championships of Darts. It's the most bettable like darts tournament of the year. I would say it's almost one of the most bettable things that we handicap. It's an absolute cash cow week in and week out. So just, last 365 days, we're up 21 units added to your bankroll. So this is something that just you chip away and you chip away and you chip away. And at the end of the year, bang, there's 20% added onto your bankroll with darts. So it's a great sport. It's a lot of fun. And our boy, Stephen Bunting, won yesterday, Prez, believe it or not. He hadn't won a match all year in Premier League.
Dude,
then he wins the entire night.
Dude, all of a sudden, I'm like Googling dart results. Anyway, Andy Lang, everyone. Matthew, my show best bet is the over 3.5 shots for OV, even at minus 160. I just think I think you could take it on an alternate line. I think we're going to see 5, 6, 7. I think it's going to be a shooting gallery for OV, and especially if there's just 2 power plays and we go over on this number. That's my show best bet. What's yours?
I'm with you, man. I don't see how he doesn't today. I know we disagreed on mini New York Islanders on the under-over, but I'm with you on Ovi. I think, Gretzky's going to be in the house. All eyes are going to be on Ovi. That's all they're going to talk about all game. You're not going to talk about Chicago because there's nothing to say except for hopefully you got your Aeroplan flight number ready for Aruba or Bahamas, wherever you're going in a couple of weeks. So Ovi show begins tonight. I'll be looking at these numbers for the next couple weeks as he chases down Gretz.
Week 1 of the Blue Line in the bag. What a fun week. Shout out to all our guests. Shout out to Matthew and Andy and Carmine, our producer, Dan Alexander. Great first week, guys. We need you. We really do need you. We need you guys to hit the like button. We need you guys to comment on these videos. And we need you guys to listen to this podcast on one of the streaming channels, iHeart, Spotify, Podcast Addicts, etc., and write a positive review, please. On behalf of Matthew, Andy, and myself, Dan, our producer, thank you for watching the show. Do not bet outside of your means, and let's all win together.